How you doing, Ezekiel, mate?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Frustrated, man. Absolutely frustrated with that second half display because
Yeah.
we were in the driving seat at half time. Absolutely in the driving seat. 1-0 up. Looking good. What the hell happened?
I wish I had an answer for you. Yeah, I'm so frustrated as well. It's like every time we have these high pressure moments and like you need to prove something, the players just always shoot themselves in the foot. We could have came away today with like actual momentum behind us. 3 clean sheets in a row, a win, 2 wins and a draw, This would have been like, not to use the cliche, but this would have been an actual like 6-pointer. It would have been a 6-pointer. Just throw it all away. And the most frustrating thing for me about this is that people now are just they don't know whether to blame Frank or blame the players, right?
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't really think it was Frank's fault today. I think it just showed an extreme lack of quality from the team, from the squad, especially in front of goal. Like they just didn't play well and just also really highlighted the poor mentality of the team. And I don't know if that's really Frank's fault, but there is credence. Like he just sat back the entire second half and didn't do anything. So I don't know. It's frustrating. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I don't know what to think with this team. You know what I mean? I never. There's no like one area where it's just like that's the problem. Let's go fix it. It's everything.
Yeah. Look, I think the problems are there for all to see. We need someone that can dictate a game in the middle of the park. And look, Bentancur was doing a good job of that in the first half, but second half, he was nowhere to be seen. So you need someone that plays at consistent levels. You need more quality in the forward line. I think that is just obvious for everyone to see. Like, let's look at that first half, right? First half, we're on top, we're dominating the game. But we score a goal from a corner, but what else did we actually create in terms of clear-cut chances? Like, when you're on top like that, you've got to be creating consistent chances and putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to the quality issue, though. We don't
No,
have
100%.
any players. Yeah, we just don't have players who can create those opportunities. And what's also really weird is that when we do bring in players who we think should, they don't.
Yeah.
Kudus is a great player. He hasn't been creating extreme high-quality chances all the time. Xavi Simons looks like a donut. He looks terrible. Absolutely terrible. And so, but we know those players are good players. And it's like there's like voodoo at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium that just makes players not perform how they should perform. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and honestly, this whole season, my mind just keeps going back to Conte saying it's easy here. It's easy here. This is the way here. It just keeps going back to that. And just like, how bad is the culture at the club that this is just what happens every year? We've seen multiple different managers and it's just the same thing, the same feeling, the same collapses. The collapses have always been there no matter what. That's not a Frank thing. The team just collapses and it's not even on the players. It's been different players.
Yeah.
I don't have a solution for that and I can't think of one. It's frustrating.
Ezekiel, what was your making of Pedro Porro? Because obviously Ben Davies was fantastic. Pedro Porro, who's a player I love, but since he's been at this football club, he has just played and played and played and played and played and played. And obviously after a very poor game against Brentford, looked better in the first half. In the second half, he just disappeared again in his passing. Do you think he needs a rest? Do you think he's just switching off? What are you making of Pedro Porro?
I think it's definitely like an overworked issue with him. I said that last time I was on. Like Pedro has really been frustrating me this season. And yeah, I think most of it is just he just doesn't. Ever since he's come to the club, he just hasn't had anyone behind him that we could rely on. And it was supposed to be Jed Spence, and it didn't work out. And now we found out that Jed Spence actually can fill in on the left, and he's been doing that. So I think we might be able to see a better Porro once we get a left back in to cover, and then Spence can come back and be that cover on the right. And we're allowed to rotate and everything. But even with that, like I do think it's a rest thing. He still has been, there's something off though. It's more than that. Because he doesn't look the same player that he used to look, right? His crosses haven't been the same. His play overall hasn't been the same at all. And I don't think that's just like, I think a lot of it does come down to the fact he's overworked, but I think there is also like a mental part of it. Maybe because he hasn't ever had that cover and he feels all that pressure or something. I don't know what it is, but I feel like there is maybe something a bit deeper there.
Yeah, and we've also seen him get quite frustrated on the pitch, with the fans and stuff and all that. So maybe there is something deeper going on there with Pedro Porro that we don't know about. But in terms of, what did you make of Frank's in-game tactical changes today?
Like I think he set us up really well, and that we were on the front foot and we were doing the right things to start, and he set us up in the right way. I really like him allowing Tell that opportunity on the left and allowing him to get into the game. I think putting Odegaard in the middle was a good decision, considering our weaknesses there. And I think he did a good job. I wish we could hear what he said at halftime to know if he told them to sit back or not, or if the players just did that for whatever reason. But from what it looks like to us, it looks like he went to the halftime talk and just told them, park the bus. Try to win the game that way, which is completely wrong. You just shouldn't do that, and you allow Sunderland back into the game. And you especially shouldn't do that knowing how Tottenham performs in those high-pressure moments normally. So, I'm not a Frank outer. I want him to work really badly, but he comes off as scared all the time. Just all the time. He just comes off as really scared, and he's the complete antithesis of Ange, where Ange had no fears at all, no matter what. Frank seems to be scared of everything all the time and is the most pragmatic manager ever, and just doesn't want. I know he has that famous quote from the beginning of the year where it's, you have to, not taking risks is a risk, but the guy doesn't take any risks.
Agreed.
So,
he won't say he won't agree with that if you asked him that. He says he takes risks all the time. He thinks sitting in the press conference is a risk.
Yeah, he's so bad in press conferences too. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he is. He's shocking.
And I remember in the summer, everyone was talking about how he's like this really personable guy that everyone's gonna love. And this guy's just he just handles himself terribly in press conferences. Says the wrong thing. He chooses the wrong dialogue option every time.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. But I mean, in my opinion, first half was on the players in terms of being on top. Obviously, the players did well, but there's an aspect that we didn't do well as well, because we got to be creating more, and we got to be putting them under even more pressure than we did when we're so dominant. Second half for me is on Frank and the way we retreated. And I get what you're saying in terms of we don't know what Frank said and we don't know what he told the team. But on the flip side of that, we see this so often. We've seen this so often so far this season, where we either go in a lead or we have a positive moment in the second half. Like the Brentford game was an example of it. We played so well in the first half, got ourselves 2-0 up, and then we just completely sat back. This time we sat back only with a 1-0 lead. And you can't sit back with a 1-0 lead in the Premier League, can you? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. I think he's afraid of something like what happened today happening, right?
Yeah.
And he should realize this, because if I can realize it, he should realize it. But you being afraid like that is going to make that thing happen, right? And that's what happened today. Is him being afraid of giving up that lead made us give up the lead. And if we stayed on the front foot, we already proved in the first half that we could pen them in and negate them in their game plan. We should have just kept doing that. But he was scared to do that because, what if they get a counter or break really quickly and they score? Whatever, I'm going to sit back. And that gave the game away. Yeah. So we need to find someone. And I'm not a Frank outer. I don't want to be. I want him to work. Just on principle of I just want a manager to work at Tottenham. But we need to find someone who's in the balance between Ange and Frank. Not ultra attacking and gung-ho and going to do whatever they want and not, change at all. But then we also need someone who's not Frank, who's going to be scared of trying new things and scared to put the game on the line. And so we're talking about spending all this money in the market. I think a piece of our thinking there, maybe we need to spend big on a manager, right?
Who would that manager be, though?
Nagelsmann, Xavi, someone. But a manager who probably wouldn't want to come here, but like what we did with Conte, you give them enough money on the table, they're gonna come. Yeah. And we have money, so that might be something the club needs to do and consider, is just maybe pay over the odds for a manager just to get the right guy in.
Yeah, you say you're not a Frank outer, but Frank was heavily booed at the end of the Brentford game by the Spurs away fans. Chance of boring Tottenham and give us our money back and all that. Today again at full time, Frank is booed by the home fans. Do you feel like it is kind of petering out towards an end with Thomas Frank, or is he going to stay in a job till the end of the season?
Yeah, I think it's the fan base definitely is done with him. Majority of the fan base, I would say, is done with him. But at least my thinking with this, and if I was a manager, like none of that should really matter to you. If your home fans are booing you, if anyone is booing, like it shouldn't matter. Like you should have the confidence in yourself and who you are, that you're doing the right things or you're trying to do the right things and take the right step. But I'm not in the boardroom. I don't know what the boardroom's thinking. Maybe they hear that and they get scared, because someone like Levy would, the second that happens, the manager is kind of gone already.
I reckon he would have been gone months ago if Levy was still here.
Yeah. So I guess that kind of indicates that the board's going to give him his time, and so it's probably not done. But I think boos and stuff like that, it really doesn't matter, because we know if Frank suddenly wins 5 games in a row, like starting this upcoming stretch we have, he wins every single game. Let's live in fantasy land. He wins every single game. The fans are going to be back on side. It doesn't matter, right? He wins every single game. We win 3-0. We play great football. The fans are going to be back on side, and he's not going to be getting booed anymore. So who cares, right? That's my thinking on it, at least.
All right, well, we'll have to wait and see how things pan out. But again, another frustrating day for Tottenham fans. But Ezekiel, thank you so much for coming on today,
Ezekiel.
mate.
Yep. Have a good rest of the day, guys.
You too, mate.
I have to say,